Welcome to the January 9th Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mr. Bowser.
Here.
Mr. Hostetler.
Here.
Here. And Mrs. McGraw.
Here. Say the pledge. Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Mrs. Pat.
Yes.
And Mrs. McGraw.
Yes. Is there a approval for the meeting minutes from December 18th?
So moved.
I'll second that. Or is there any discussion?
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Mrs. Pat.
Yes.
And Mrs. McGraw.
Yes.
So for January, we don't have any educational spotlights, just to make a break. Because we do 3 and 3, so it gives us a nice break and gives each of the buildings a chance. So the other thing I wanted to share with you is all of our extracurriculars are having a lot of success this winter. But I especially want to point out, if you remember, we hired Murray Hooten to be our new girls basketball coach. This is his first year. I can't say enough how impressed I am with the job that Mr. Hooten has done. And how the girls have done. They're on a 3-game win streak. They scored, I believe, 35 to 50 points the last 2 games.
40 to 18 last night.
40 to 18. That's what it was. They're having a phenomenal season, and it's great to finally see our girls basketball program really making strides. So I just wanted to point that out to you if you haven't seen them play yet. They're very entertaining to watch. They're really making strides, and it's nice to see that program establishing a great foundation. So that was the only thing I wanted to share with you under district updates this morning.
Yeah, they played St. Thomas last night, and it was a very physical game.
Yeah.
Our girls, they did a fantastic job. The other team is physical.
It's so great to see. As a former girls basketball coach, it's great to see. And Murray is, you know, he has coach speech when I try to give him compliments, you know, that they still have all these things to work on. But it's great to see someone excited to coach girls sports. And he's extremely excited to be here and the opportunity he has to coach our kids.
Zoom participation. There's the Board of Education comments. Would you like to start, Dan?
It's a new year. Oh, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. It's a new year, starting off well. I've heard a lot. I haven't had a chance to come in and watch, but from when I'm talking to other officials, et cetera, they say good things about, and the wrestling program is on the uptick because I got a wrestler in my ear all the time, and my granddaughter is wrestling at challenge. And she's 5. And she's taught for wrestling people. They have little kids wrestling. It's amazing. Anyway, that's. Yeah,
I'm good.
Hope everybody had a good break. Thank you, Laura, to you for stepping up to be president for another year. Greatly appreciated, and everybody else that stepped up for appointments as well.
I'd just like to once again say how proud I am of our students and how they've represented us in the public and in the community. And I'm real impressed by that.
Oh, I do have something to say. There's gonna be a newsletter that's gonna come out. It'll be mid next week. So we have a mailing and we have to have extras.
But thank you,
Extras.
thank you
for
very much.
this. So yeah, we should have that middle. Okay, fantastic. Moving around. Okay,
Superintendent recommendations, number one, classified personnel. Number one's resignation. It's recommended the board accept the resignation of the following employees with the position indicated. That's Ms. Tabar, resigning from her 3-hour lunch recess attendant at Coventry Elementary School. Number two is a change in hours, buildings, and positions. It's recommended the board approve a change in the hours, buildings, and or positions for the following employees. Effective January 6th, that's Mrs. Tabar, to go from our lunch recess attendant to our 3-hour Coventry Elementary School cook's helper. And effective January 13th, Cheryl Best, from a 2.5-hour lunch recess assistant to the 3-hour lunch recess assistant position, which is the position Mr. Barr is moving out of. Number three, employment. It's recommended the board employ the following for the position indicated contingent upon receipt of a clear record of required background check and drug screening. Barry Basinger, 4-hour CMS custodial helper, part-time, full-year float. I would like to redact the effective 1/8/25. Mr. Basinger will begin once all of his materials are turned in. So once his record check and all the other requirements are turned in, then that will be, we'll start him the day after that. Those are all the items under classified personnel.
is there a motion to approve the recommendations?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
sorry, Terry,
Okay.
Terry got it.
Any discussion?
Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Mrs. Pat
Yes,
and Mrs. McGraw.
Yes.
Number two, under other business items, number one, contract educational alternative. It is recommended that the board approve the contract with educational alternative for a student who has moved into and is residing in a group home in Coventry. The student has been attending educational alternatives, and it is recommended the board approve continuing this placement due to the student's intensive needs. Please note that the contract with educational alternatives allows us to place students as needed and is not written for the individual student. The student is in the choral program in educational alternatives for $237 per day. Number two, school calendar. It's recommended the board adopt the school calendar for the 25-26 school year for exhibit S1. And I received no suggestions for changes on that calendar. Number three is revised policies and procedures. It's recommended the board complete the second reading of the revised and or deleted policies and procedures for approval per exhibit S2, and there have been no changes to that policy since we looked at it last month. Number four, operating standards for the education of children with disabilities. It's recommended the board adopt the model policies and procedures developed by the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce regarding the education of children with disabilities. Educational agencies are required to notify the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce of their policies through the monitoring system and to upload their board approval of these policies annually. For the 24-25 school year, educational agencies have until March 30th, 2025 to complete these actions. Starting the 25-26 school year and each year after, the due date will be November 30th. The link to the entire document is listed there for you, and a summary of changes per exhibit S3. This doesn't substantially change the model that we use. This is a directive that the Department of Education and Workforce was given by the legislature. So we're complying with that. Number five, deletion of inventory facilities department. It's recommended the board approve the following deletion of inventory from the facilities department. And all of those items are listed there. And those are all of the items under other business.
Is there a motion to approve these recommendations?
So second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to point out that the vehicles at the bottom, it was caught, or was, found through, the work in Lisa's department or the treasurer's office, that we had failed to do that. Those items have been, auctioned and we had missed, the step of obsoleting them. So we're fixing that.
You've answered my question before I asked.
I saw you looking at it, the wheels.
I think this means we're already gone. Any other discussion? No? Call the roll.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Mrs. Pat
Yes.
and Mrs. McGraw.
Yes.
Moving on to the treasurer's recommendations. Item 1, it is recommended that the board approve and place on file the December 2024 financial report and reconciliation per Exhibit T1. And item 2, it is recommended that the board approve the POs over 5,000 per Exhibit T2.
Is there a motion to approve these recommendations?
So. Yes.
A second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Bowser,
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
and Mrs. McGraw.
Yes. Right. Is there anything else? Think fast. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Could we have a very short executive session with us, discuss potential discipline of an employee based on an incident that came to Lisa and I's attention today?
Yes.
Very short.
Do I have to read that? Motion to enter. Should I read it before I say the motion?
Yes.
Executive session is for the purpose of deliberations only. No action will be taken after the session. The reason for this meeting. Executive sessions are selected as below. But the first one,
Yes.
the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against an employee, official, license, or student, unless the employee, official, licensee, or student requested a public hearing. There a motion to enter the executive session.
And specifically for discipline of employees. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler,
Yes.
Mrs. Pat,
Yes.
Mrs. McGraw.
Yes. And then there will be no actions taken after the executive session. Do we have to keep recording?
I'm gonna mute the audio and then ask that we just step over into the official for a few minutes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was Josh, then Chris.
Yep.